Hey, hi, hello, welcome to another knowledge sharing session. So today I'm going to share my knowledge in one of the concept in Power BI. So today's session is about filters and slicers in Power BI. So what are all the types of filters we have it in Power BI, and then what is slicer and what is difference between filters and slicer. So many of my colleagues and friends, they usually ask what is filters and what is slicers. Some people says, can we add filters on top of visuals and can we add some slicers? And but without knowing the difference between slicers and then filters, today in this session I'm going to clarify what it is. Okay, so let's jump into our Power BI file here. On the same example that I've shown in our last video, which is all function. So in general, what is filter and what is slicer in Power BI? Okay, so filter. So when it comes to filter, this is the filters. Like you can see filter pane, and then you can add some of the columns to filter out the records and limit the data based on your like filter pane and then based on your requirement. So what does it mean? Like for example, here you can see filter on this page and filter on all pages. In general, filters are categorized as three types in Power BI. One is visual level filter, and second one is page level filter, and then third one is all report level filter. You call it as like which is filter on all pages. Okay, so these are the three different types of filters within Power BI. So how that helps and how that works. Let's jump into a sample. So let me go back to my previous example here. So as you can see, we have country table, country field and all measure, and then I've also added segment and product table. Okay, so let's consider country table alone. Okay, so in this page, for example, so as per your requirement, if you want to show only country level filters. Okay, let's rename it as country, COUNTRY. Okay, and then let's add some filters on these pages, and then visuals, and then all pages. Okay, each and every like selection, and then how that behaves and how that filters out the records. Let's see that. Okay, so now this is visual. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, the first category is visual level filter, correct? Okay, so I've added country. So because we already added the country column and all measure here. So by default that shows here whatever column and field you add on top of visuals, that shows on filter on this visual option. Okay, so if I go and then filter out the specific country, for example, in this country page, by default, I want my user to see only Canada data. Okay, no other country selection. Okay, so this is specific to Canada, and I just wanted to display records for Canada, the total sales amount for the Canada country. So I just filtered here. See, as soon as I select this filter, as soon as I chose Canada as a country, so it filters out only Canada sales amount here. Okay. So no other data here. Okay. So still other visuals are still showing the data because we haven't applied any of the filters on top of these two visuals. Like I haven't applied product, or I haven't applied any filter on segment or any filter on these two visuals. Okay. So only I applied country level filter on this particular visual. That's why it is filtering only Canada. And if in case if I need to show Canada and France, you can still go ahead and select these two, and it still displays the record for the selected items. So this is called visual level filter. Okay, let's say you have multiple visual within this page. For example, you have like product visual, product table, segment table, and country table. And also if you have any other visual, for example, bar chart, simple bar chart, stacked bar chart I'm adding here, country and then sales, for example, sales price. Okay, I just added one sample visual. So you have multiple visual in this. So your requirement is to show or affect all the visuals within this page based on your selection. Okay, so let's say I want to see only Canada related sales amount across all these visuals within this page alone. So my filter should not affect any other pages within the Power BI report. It should only reflect the filter, or it should only filter out the record based on my selection within this page. Okay, not any other pages. So let's do that, and then how to do that. So here previously I've added visual level filter. I'll go and clear out that one. So let's clear this one. Now it shows all the country level. Now I'm going to add country level filter on top of this page alone. So the second option, as I mentioned earlier, second category is page level filter, which applies the filters only to this particular page, not other pages. Okay. So let's do how it works. So here I'm selecting Canada, and as soon as I select Canada here, can you see wherever I have Canada filter here, okay, it is automatically filtering out the records. Okay, Canada here, because the all function, so that's why it is showing some of the items here, because it's behaving with all function as well. But ultimately, it filters the entire across all the visuals based on your selection, because you have added country filter in here. So whatever record it shows in these visuals, it is only applicable to Canada, country Canada. Okay, understood? So let's say I'm going to add sales price. Where is the sales price? Let me add. So I'm adding sales price, sum of sales price here. Okay. So let's ignore all measure here. Okay. Here also let's ignore all measure. Let me add sum of sales here. And then this visual also add sum of sales here. And then here already we have added sum of sales price. Okay. Now let's see. Okay. So I have all the visuals, one, two, three, four visuals within this page, and then I have filtered only Canada data. And for Canada, the total sum of sales is 16580. Okay, and if you can see here, the total in this particular first table, here it is showing total sales is 16580, and then second table also sum of sales price 16580, and in this table where I have added segment as a column, here also it shows 16580, which is sales price for that particular country called Canada. And then in the bar chart also I can see 16580. Okay, hence it proves this page level filter. Okay, this filters out the records only to the Canada country. Okay, so this is how the page level filters behaves. Okay, so this is very much useful when you want to filter out by default any records within that page without affecting or without interacting with any other pages, for example all other pages. Only this is applicable to country page, because I have added filter on this page, not on any other page. Okay, so this is type number 2. Okay, and then let's jump into another filter option, which is third type. Okay, filter on all pages. Let's say, so you want to filter out the records for the Canada, because this entire report is only for Canada people, for example. Okay, so what you will do on top of that one? Okay, in order to achieve that one, what you would do? So I would simply clear out this particular filter option from the page level, and then I'll simply add that country column in the all page, filter on all page. So when you add this one, it means you are going to filter out all the pages based on your selection here. So let's say, so previously these pages are having data for all the countries are like Canada, France, Germany, everything. And page 2 also I have something. Maybe I have filtered out only this record. Okay, why it is showing only this one? France. Okay, let's ignore this one. Somewhere some filter has been applied. Let me clear out that one. Here also you can see all the countries, everything. And page 4 it's blank. Let me delete this one. Okay. So now let me add or let me filter only Canada here. Okay. So as soon as I filter Canada, so this page filters out record for Canada as we have already seen. The total sum of sales is 16580. Okay, let's go and see other pages, what it shows. Yep, here also only Canada record has been filtered out. So in order to test that one, let me add that sales price here. Okay, you can ignore all function because that was for existing sample. Let me remove that if you want, and then show that to you, the clear um, result on top of this table. Yeah. See, in this page also, only it is showing Canada level filter. Okay, because we have filtered only the Canada country here on all the pages. So it by default it will automatically filter out the records in all the pages within this report. Okay, so you can go and see here also it shows because I have added France here, something filtering out the records. Why it is? Why it is filtering the records? I don't see any records here. Why it is still, yeah, okay, this is fine, but page level filter we don't have anything. Why it is still, okay, calculate table. So the table is wrong table. Let me, because that is for different table. So we need to get the data from the financial table alone. Okay, not from the calculate table. So let me add country and then change this to table and then sales price. Same result. Okay. And then if you go to page 1 also, here you can see everywhere the data for Canada. Okay. So here we have added all functions. So that's why it is showing different results. So if you drag and drop sales price, as I have done for other pages, you can still see the same result, which is 16580. So basically, it filters out all the records across all the pages. Okay, this is useful when you want to filter by default all the pages. Okay, without letting user like touching any of the filter. By default, when they open the report, it shows their own data. Okay, so this is the useful use case of the filters. Okay, again, so we have added filters and we have seen different types of filters as well. Okay, so now I hope you understood the concept, what is filter and what are the types of filters and how to use them. Now, as I have discussed before start of this session, slicer and then filter. What is the difference between them? Okay, so these filters, so this is not like uh, for end users. You are not going to let end users to access these filters and requesting them to make use of these filters. It is not the case. So you should not allow end users to access these filters. This is for developers purpose, and then you can still hide this filter if you want. Okay, without letting user to see this particular filter pane. Okay, this eye icon on top of this filter, if you simply hide this one, so when you publish this to Power BI service, by default, it will be disabled for end users. Okay, so now let's come into like slicer part. What is slicer? So slicer is the place where we are allowing to access the data or where we are allowing end user to access or filter out the records based on their selection. Okay, so like in short, it is for end users. So I'm adding one slicer. The name itself, you can see it is slicer, and then you can go and add the required filter, slicer here based on your requirement. We should not call it as filter here, it is slicer. Okay. So as soon as I add country column, it is only showing me country Canada because there is a filter applied on the all page, right? So that's why by default it is showing only Canada. Let's say I'll go and remove this page level filter, and now it start displaying all the countries here. Okay, so here you can see Canada, France, Germany, Mexico, and United States of America. And now you are allowing end user to uh, filter out the records based on their need. Okay, so let's say if user wants to see France data, they can go and select France and Germany, Mexico, likewise United States and Canada. Based on that, the visuals will automatically interact and then that filter out the records. Okay, so this is for end users. Okay, so you are whenever you add slicers, which means you are allowing end users to access or make use of these slicers to select whatever records based on their need and requirement. Okay, so this is called slicer. You can like apply so many other properties. We can see it in our different sessions. I can explain you in detail what are all the properties we have on top of slicers. Like we can add multiple properties here and to make even more flexible to the end users. Okay, so this is the main use case of filters and slicers and what is the main difference between slicers and filters. So I thought of sharing this knowledge with you all and then like to understand what is slicer and filters. Yep. Hope you understood the concept and keep learning. Thanks for watching. Thank you again.